of the day, I have a suggestion.
Yes, Brenda, go ahead.
Good evening, good morning, everyone. Depending on where you're joining from, you're very welcome to the 42nd meeting of Kampala Executives Toastmasters Club. My name is Elizabeth Asiimwe and I am the club president. It is with pleasure that I welcome all of you. I see on the call we have Toastmasters who are members of Kampala Executives. I see visiting Toastmasters. I see guests as well. And I'll take this opportunity to invite our leaders first to greet us, and then we can have the guests introduce themselves, and then we proceed. I'll begin with our Program Quality Director, Gilbert Rutebembera. Please say hello.
Hello, good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Glad to be here with you. Back to you, my president.
Thank you, PQD Gilbert. We are happy to have you. I see President Shamim from Kampala Toastmasters. Would you like to say hi?
Brenda, you make me grow wings. Good evening, Kampala Executives, not Brenda, as Elizabeth. I'm so honored. It's always home to be at KETM. And tonight, I'm so pleased to be here once again as a visitor and as an evaluator. Thank you so much for the time. Back to you.
Thank you, Shamim. I see Area Director Jesse Aineviona, who is also the incoming Division F Director. Jesse, please say hello.
Hi, Elizabeth and Kampala Executives. I'm delighted to be joining you this evening, probably for the first time. I'm happy to be joining you this evening for tonight's meeting. I'm happy to be here and looking forward to a great meeting coming ahead. Thank you. Back to you, President.
Thank you very much. I'm sure we have a number of guests on the call, and I request all the guests to rename as such. You can begin with your name. For example, if you are Elizabeth, you can rename as Elizabeth Guest, and there will be able to identify you. I'm sure Christine Namlindwa is a guest. Christine, please introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet all of you. I'm a guest, definitely to Toastmasters, and yeah, I'm here to enjoy the evening with you guys and see what Toastmasters is all about. And yes, hopefully I'll join later. So thank you for welcoming me, and yeah, that's me really. Thanks.
You're welcome, Christine. Toastmasters is a great place to be. I see guest Ahura. Ahura, over to you to introduce yourself.
Yes, good evening. My name is Ahura Brian. I'm in Imbarara and I'm only 1 week old in Toastmasters. Nice to meet you all.
Thank you, Ahura. Welcome to the Toastmasters family. I see Jude. Jude, welcome to introduce yourself. Jude Thaddeus. And if you don't mind, please share with us how you got to know about this meeting. Okay, as we wait for Jude, we have Isaiah Nyabuto. Isaiah is a visiting Toastmaster all the way from Kikuyu Toastmasters Club. Isaiah, we recognize your presence. In a special way, I'd like to invite the new members of our club. We have 3 new members, and these are Juliet, Mureithi, Wanjiru, Stephen Kagami, and Claire Bwenje. Please greet us, starting with Claire.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Good evening to all Toastmasters and guests. I'm very happy to be a part of the Toastmasters. Thank you. you.
Welcome, Claire. Stephen, over to you.
Thank you so much, President Elizabeth. Good evening to all Toastmasters on the call. I'm a new member of the Toastmasters Club Kampala Executive, and I'm glad to be here.
Welcome, Stephen. Zaitun, please introduce yourself. Okay, as we wait for Zaitun, I'd like to recognize the presence of Carla Andrea Isaacs. If I'm not mistaken, Carla is from the Bahamas. Carla, please wave, recognize your presence.
I am from Guyana, not the Bahamas, the Corporate Republic of Guyana. And I've been to Kampala on several occasions. It's a pleasure to be here. Was invited by the Kampala family.
You're welcome. And we've been joined by our Division F Director, Wilson Asiimwe. Wilson, please say hello and welcome the members that have joined today.
Hi, colleagues. I'm so excited to be here and happy to see the new members. I would like to thank all the leaders of this club for ensuring that this club is growing at a fast rate. I want to encourage you to take up roles as soon as possible so that you can grow as Toastmasters. Over to you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, our Division Director, Wilson. I'll request all the Toastmasters on the call to unmute their microphones, and together we recite the club mission, Toastmasters. I'll count down 3 to 1. 3, 2, and 1, we go. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Thank you very much. It is very clear Toastmasters is a place where we come to hone our skills in communication and leadership, and we are confident that we will achieve this if we put in effort. Members and guests, this is the current executive committee. In case you see any of these people on the call, please don't hesitate to reach out to them. You can ask all the questions that you may have about Toastmasters, like how you can join, benefits, and so much more. At this moment, I'd like to introduce to us the Toastmaster of the day. And this is none other than Toastmaster Geoffrey Ayebare. Geoffrey is a member of Kampala Executives Toastmasters Club, where he also serves as the Vice President of Membership. By training, Geoffrey is an accountant. He also works as a tax consultant, as well as clearing and forwarding professional. Geoffrey says he's passionate about travel, and he also fears big dogs. That is our Toastmaster of the evening today. Over to you, Geoffrey, to take us through the next steps.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm greatly honored to be host of this meeting today. Our theme is hone your skills. I have seen on this call a number of Toastmasters, new Toastmasters, and guests. I can personally see a few personal friends that I have spent a long time without meeting. Joseph, Jude, I welcome you to this meeting. Please bear with me, my lighting is not the best. All the same, we shall move ahead into this meeting day. For those of you who are here for the first time, this is a Toastmasters club. And it is one of the many clubs in the world that subscribe Toastmasters. Toastmasters is a non-profit which helps members hone their skills in public speaking, in leadership, and communication. Without forgetting, it's a great place to network. It was started 98 years ago. So in a few years' time, we shall be celebrating the centenary of Toastmasters. And what an honor for many of you who will be Toastmasters at the time. It will be a great time to celebrate with you our centenary in 2 years' time. The Toastmasters was started by a gentleman called Ralph Smedley. Ralph Smedley felt that youth, especially those who were at the YMCA where he was, with whom he was interacting with mostly, he needed to have communication skills. And it is up to today that we can still hone our skills through the ingenuity of Ralph. This meeting is going to have 3 segments. We shall have prepared speeches. These are speeches which have been prepared by our own Toastmasters. One of them is going to be an icebreaker, which is an introduction. It is the very first speech a Toastmaster gives. And the other is a project. The second segment is going to be a table topics. Table topics is impromptu speaking. A question will be posed, remember, and you will be expected to speak within 2 minutes about what you've been asked to say. The last segment is going to be for evaluations. Evaluations in Toastmasters, evaluations are very important because they bring us our mistakes and areas of improvement. And this is why we actually are in Toastmasters. And we are able to hone our skills much better if we take positive feedback, if we are evaluated. At this moment, I would like to invite the general evaluator to introduce the tag team. That is the timer, that is the accountant, and the grammarian. Thank you very much. Over to you, Toastmaster Gilbert.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day. As you've been told, I am the general evaluator, Gilbert Rutebemberwa, who will be introducing the team that is helping us deliver today's program. We start with our accountant, Stephen Kagame. Stephen, kindly tell us what your role entails.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Gilbert. I am the accountant today, and I'll be taking note of the crunches, as many call them. I'll be making sure that every speaker is evaluated in terms of how many times they have those crunches coming in. So I'm glad to take on that role today. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Gilbert. Over to you, Gilbert.
Thank you very much, Stephen. Stephen is one of our new members and is taking up a role for the very first time. So we appreciate your candidness and your willingness to learn and to hone your skills. Our next role taker is the timekeeper. This is a person that is going to guide us on how we are going to conduct this meeting. And so our timekeeper is Zaitun Namuonge. Zaitun, kindly tell us what your role as a timekeeper entails.
Thank you. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. I'm called Zaitun Namuonge and I'm super excited to be here. This is my first time as a Toastmaster and this is my first role. My role today is to ensure that the speakers are within the time range that they are supposed to use. And I'm going to make sure that, sorry, this is my first time here and I don't know what I'm doing. My background is going to turn green when the speaker is within the qualifying time, and then it will turn yellow when they have met the target time, and it will turn red when the time is up. So I'm suggesting you pin my video so that you can see how far the speakers are going. That's all. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Zaitun, for that introduction. So the speakers and the evaluators kindly look out for Zaitun so that you are sure that you are within your time as you deliver your project. Our accountant this evening is Claire Bwenje. Claire, oh, sorry. I had already announced Claire, sorry about that. Our grammarian this evening, no, Hackmaster, sorry, Hackmaster, I beg your pardon. Our Hackmaster this evening is Claire Bwenje. Claire, kindly unmute and give us an intro of what your role as a Hackmaster entails.
Thank you very much. My name is Claire Bwenje, and I'm the Hackmaster this evening. So, of course, as Toastmasters, our pride is in active listening. So as a Hackmaster this evening, I'll be taking notes of every speaker. And when I'm called back, I will be asking us questions to test our listening skills. Please listen and listen good. Thank you very much, and over to you.
Thank you very much, Claire. We shall try as much as possible to be attentive so that you don't get us off guard when that time comes. Last but not least is our grammarian, who is a seasoned Toastmaster, Alex Agaba. Alex, kindly unmute and tell us what your role as a grammarian entails.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. My role has already started. I'll be listening keenly on how well we're using the English language. And that was well said by the General Evaluator, a seasoned Toastmaster. I like that and I've taken note of it. I also liked what Bwenje said. Our pride is in active listening. I'll be looking out for such clever expressions and I'll come back and give you a report on how well you did. Thank you, and back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Alex, for that intro about your role. And just to recap what I mentioned earlier on, by taking up these roles, the members that I have listed above will be honing their leadership skills, their planning skills, and of course, their time management skills, because as they carry out those roles, they will also be working within their allocated time. I would like now to hand back to you, our Toastmaster of the day, Geoffrey.
General Evaluator, I believe Alex is supposed to be performing another role. A tabletop is a table topics master too.
Yes, thanks very much. Alex will be handling the second part of our meeting. So I was focusing on the team that will be helping me to deliver the third part of the meeting. I'm very sure that Toastmaster of the Day will handle this. Nonetheless, since you are my leader, Madam VPE, I would like to take this honor also to invite you, Alex, once again, to tell us what your role will entail as a table topics master.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. I also come back as a table topics master. My role as a table topics master, I will be handling an impromptu session of the meeting. Impromptu means that you will be called upon to deliver a short speech on a topic I will have, and it will be in 1 to 2 minutes. This session will help you prepare for many impromptu moments in your life. Also, may I use this chance to also introduce the word of the day. The word of the day is hone. Hone, like to hone your skill, which is what we have as a theme of the day. So to hone your skill is what we have as a theme of the meeting. So let's use the word hone in our speeches or when we are called upon. To hone something is to allow something to grow or to practice something to perfection. So the word is hone. I'm going to drop it in the chat with a description. Thank you. And back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Alex, for that particular section that I'm very much looking forward to, because that table topic session is not meant to embarrass you or to get you unaware, but rather to prepare you for opportunities ahead. For you never know when you would bump into your future CEO, your future employer, and you only have those 2 to 3 minutes to pitch your skills to that person and actually make sure that you are able to impress that person to win your next job. So it's a very, very important part of Toastmasters, whereby we deliver those impromptu speeches. They help us to remain alert at all times. You never know when you'll be called upon to lead a prayer or to give a thanks speech. So back to you, Toastmaster of the Day, Geoffrey.
Thank you very much, Gilbert. I'm impressed. I think we are rolling good. And now we are starting the very first segment of our meeting. And these are the prepared speeches. We shall have the first speech. It will be an icebreaker. And let me call upon the evaluator of the first speaker, Chamim Nirere, introduce our first speaker, icebreaker.
Okay. Thank you very much, table topics. Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the evening. I'm so excited. That's really a sign of excitement. Today, I am so honored to be evaluating an icebreaker. Our first speaker, Juliet Mureithi, will be delivering her icebreaker. Usually, if this were a physical meeting, we would all stand up and give her a standing ovation as she comes to speak. We will not do that, Juliet, but just be aware that we are standing in our hearts and giving you an ovation as you deliver your first speech. Today, I'll be looking out for two things. I'll be looking out for the speech structure. I want to feel that your speech has a structure, an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. I would like to also remind you that the purpose of your project is to introduce yourself to the club. What can we know about Juliet? Who is Juliet? Your speech can be informational, it can be humorous, it can be any style. Our job is to listen and know more about Juliet. Toastmasters and guest Juliet will be delivering her icebreaker with the title, Building Resilience. Building Resilience, Juliet Mureithi. Juliet Mureithi, Building Resilience. Your speech will be between 4 to 6 minutes. Over to Juliet.
I turned 35 years old 2 days ago. Happy and excited. However, I've been reminiscing about my life, where I am, where I have come from, and where I am going. I believe I am a diamond. Why, you may ask? Because couples go through stress and only come up turn into gems. I'm going to share 3 experiences of my life help me build resilience and become the diamond that I am to speak in front of you today. My name is Juliet Mureithi. I have 2 children. Someone says they can't hear me. I'm a firstborn in a family of 2 children. My parents are very conservative and Catholic Christian. Growing up, values such as humility, respect, and self-discipline were strictly ingrained in us. When I went to school, I was a very good kid. I was never punished. I was never expelled, never even beaten. In fact, I think I was the most favorite child to every teacher in the school. After my S4, I expected that I would go to the university of my choice in Kenya, but my parents had other plans for me. One evening, I was summoned in front of the sitting room by my parents, and they broke the news that I'll be going to Uganda for my A-levels. I was in shock because I was never consulted. I remember traveling to Kampala with my mom using the Akamba bus. It was on a rainy day. I cried myself the entire night until we got to Kampala. We arrived at the school, we were received, and we went through the admission process, and it came time for my mom to leave me. I remember my mom saying goodbye to me, and she could not even look at me in the eyes. And I also remember thinking she was not proud of these decisions she had made. So my mom left me, and I had to begin life in a new country, in a new school. The culture shock was not something I was really prepared for. I didn't like the school, I didn't like the food, I didn't like my uniform, and most of all, I didn't like the fact that they made me cut all my hair. However, this was my first test in resilience. I went through the school. I would cry every day of that term. Every minute I had that I was alone, I would spend it hiding somewhere crying. But then again, I had to change. I had to make a mind shift and tell myself, why am I here? And the reason why I was there was to excel in my academics. And so I used that energy to focus on my books. I excelled in my studies. And after the 2 years, I finished, passed with flying colors, and I was admitted at Makerere University for a degree in Bachelor of Community Psychology. Life in university for a 20-year-old is supposed to be very much fun, especially since you're miles away from home and no one is there to monitor you. You're supposed to party, you're supposed to sleep, and at least attend a few lessons. But I didn't have the luxury to do the partying. My mom had just lost her job, and the sole breadwinner was my dad. And so my dad's small salary could not sustain my party life. And therefore, that meant I had to sacrifice some of the pleasures in order for me to be able to work with what he was sending me. That meant I could not party. That meant I could not buy myself the best dresses every campus girl wants to have, and I could not have the best life. This was my second test at resilience. Again, I had to make a mind shift. Why am I here? I'm here to study and get a degree. And therefore, on nights when I could go hungry because I didn't have any pocket money, I reminded myself that my parents really love me and they brought me here because they wanted the best education for me. Again, I strained and stressed. I went through campus, I did very well, and I graduated in 2012. I got my first job as an intern in a company where I worked for a very, very strict boss. She liked me a lot, but she kept telling me that she needed to train me to be a less mediocre person in the society. She was preparing me for the corporate world. I worked under her. I polished my work ethic, my professionalism, and built even my resilience further. But then I didn't like working for someone. I liked to be my own boss. And therefore, I started fantasizing with the idea of starting my own company back in Kampala, Uganda. On 1st September 2016, I resigned from my job. And in 1st April 2017, with my passport, my suitcase, and faith, I traveled to Uganda to start a business. I arrived in Uganda and met a friend who agreed to partner with me to start a business. Like any other business, we really struggled during the first few years of starting that business. It meant pumping in money into the company without getting anything in return. That was my third test at resilience. Sometimes I would go without food. Sometimes I would walk home because the little money that came in had to go into paying bills, into paying employees, and in doing other things that meant that we needed to do to run that company. But I kept going. I fought on. I wanted to give up on the company, but I remembered my resilience in campus. I remembered my resilience in A-level, and that is what kept me going. During the COVID time, it was especially very hard and tough. But after COVID, the company started picking up. We started the business going on well, and money was coming in. I started getting a status in the society. I had employees who were working for me and they were very good. However, I lacked one thing: public speaking skills. One day I went for a conference where Dr. Juliet was the guest speaker. She made a very wonderful speech. I followed her after the conference and told her, I want what you have. Dr. Juliet was very kind to share her number, and she also introduced me to Toastmasters. And that is how I am here. Again, diamonds are very precious, beautiful, resilient gems, and I am a diamond. I believe joining Toastmaster is part of the process of turning this diamond into a gem, and I am happy to be here. Before I end, I would like to challenge you to think of 3 cases in which you have been able to build resilience. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Juliet Mureithi. What a wonderful speech. Building resilience. You are a gem. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is going to be evaluated by Jessie Ayebare. She is attempting level 4, project 3. Jessie Ayebare, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. This evening, I'm going to be evaluating Brenda Asiimwe, who is attempting a project named Create a Podcast. The purpose of this project is for Brenda to be introduced to the skills that are needed to organize and present a podcast. So she will be required to introduce her podcast and then present a segment of this particular podcast. I'll be looking out for excellent speaking skills and how she engages with the audience during that particular segment of the podcast. So audience, look out for this podcast coming up right away on your screen. Over to you, Brenda Asiimwe.
Dear Toastmasters and guests, do you remember that chore, the household chore that you hated most when as a teenager? Think about your high school days. For me, the chore that I dreaded most when we went for holidays was digging. And for the longest time, I couldn't wait to become an adult and start working, have a full-time job where I would not have to be digging every day. Like, for example, the farm hands who every day they would come and be on the farm Monday of January to December of the end of the year. Can you hear me?
Yes, Brenda.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, awesome. So with that attitude about farming and generally about agriculture, negative attitude, as I've grown up and as I've educated myself more, as I've met people, as I've met passionate farmers, and now currently my father, who is a retired servant and full-time farmer, seeing the joy that he gets from seeing his gardens flourish, I've started appreciating what farming does. And also, of course, understanding that Uganda is typically an agriculture nation, and to find more information to educate myself so I can know how better to contribute to the food basket of Uganda. And to do this, I'm purposing to read as much as I can, to speak to more people who know more about farming and agriculture, to listen to stories of successful farmers. I am a daily guest to Kabshenga's 360 mentor for those ones who are listening, and listening to his farming story and how he started Rugeo Farm, among other people who are farming, like this gentleman in northern Uganda who started Okere, I think it's called Okere City, among others. So on this journey to educate myself and also learn how to podcast, I interviewed a fellow Toastmaster who you're going to be introduced to, reintroduced again on this call, Elizabeth. And allow me to play this podcast. Elizabeth is an agriculturalist by profession. And as I mentioned, on this journey of educating myself about farming to have a better appreciation for it, I asked her several questions about it. And please welcome on this journey with me by listening to this podcast. Just a second. Not in my screen. No. I got it. Hi, and welcome to my podcast. My name is Brenda Asiimwe, and the name of my podcast is Imagine Me. As you listen to more episodes, and even this episode which I'm going to record today, you're going to understand why I chose to name this podcast Imagine Me. It's conversations about my imaginations, my thoughts, conversations with friends, just like the one I'm going to have here with this wonderful lady called Elizabeth. So you can expect things like that and other ideas as they come up that are going to be shared on this podcast, which is going to be coming to you at least once a month.
So today I am in conversation with Elizabeth. And who is this Elizabeth? Elizabeth, I also happen to share a name with Elizabeth. Her surname is Asiimwe, just like myself. I think it just goes to show that Asiimwe are pretty cool people. Anyways, Elizabeth is a mother of 3 preteens. She's a wife, she's a Christian who she also emphasized that she likes to pray the rosary. She is a Toastmaster, and fun fact, I met Elizabeth through Toastmasters and somehow we've become fast friends. We are both members of Kampala Executives Toastmasters Club, and she also happens to be a member of the Lions Club Makerere. Professionally, Elizabeth is an agriculture professional. She's currently coordinating an agriculture research project at Makerere University, College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences. She's also a part-time lecturer at the same university, and she teaches agriculture. So today, as you just heard about Elizabeth's professional life, we're going to be talking more about that, because as I've interacted with her, I've somehow been fascinated to learn more about agriculture from a professional standpoint, because I have interacted with agriculture, but what I know about agriculture is farming, just farming and rearing of animals and things like that. But I'm hoping that Elizabeth is going to kind of shed more light about what it is and what agriculture is in the academic setting and how it translates into our everyday lives as farmers, as consumers of different agricultural products and things like that. So Elizabeth, how are you? I'm excited to have a conversation with you today. How are you doing?
I am very fine, Brenda. Thank you for hosting me.
You're most welcome. So we'll dive straight in, and I am curious, in terms of your career choice, how did you determine that you wanted to study agriculture, and at what point did you make this decision? Growing up, did you, as a young girl, did you think, I want to grow up and become an agriculturalist? Is it something that you picked up later on as you grew up and studied further? How did you determine that you want to take this career path?
Well, my choice to study agriculture started way back. Like all children in primary school, agriculture is embedded in the integrated science. In secondary school, it is a standalone subject, and at university, it is a fully fledged course.
Yes.
And my choice of studying it was influenced by a number of factors. First of all, Brenda, I grew up on a farm. I don't know where you grew up, and I see the role that agriculture played in our livelihoods. In fact, I remember one time my mother was harvesting millet and had cooked this nice food, and she delayed to come home. I went to call her. She told me she first wanted to complete her task before she could come for lunch. Deep inside me, I wished I had money to buy a machine that would make her work easy.
Okay.
Yes, agriculture wasn't our main source of income in our house, but for sure it was a way to get some money as a child. In Richiga, there is a term called okwehereka, and this is a scenario where children request their parents for small pieces of land where they can grow crops, and when they sell the harvest, they are in control of the proceeds. And this was very attractive, although I didn't have children of my own.
Wow, that is so interesting
That
to
was
hear.
one. And the second one, I went to a rural setting school called Nyakamuga.
Dear Toastmasters and guests, that's just a small portion of this podcast. It's about 30 minutes long. So if you're interested in listening to more of this conversation with Elizabeth, it's a light chat. It's very highly insightful and informational. I'm going to share the link to this podcast in the chat so that you can listen after the meeting. And as I was preparing this podcast, going through the editing process, I was thinking the things Toastmasters has taught me, because there's no way on earth I would be working on a podcast. But then here I was presented with a speech project to make a podcast, and I thought, here you go. So I hope you've enjoyed listening to that, and I welcome you to join me on this journey to learn more about farming by listening to more of this podcast and the ones I'm going to record after this one. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Brenda. Wow, what a podcast. I think I'd also have a chance at one time to deliver a podcast, and it would be quite exciting. Now, we have finished the first segment of our meeting. Now, on we go to the second segment, which is the table topics. And our table topics master is none other than a seasoned Toastmaster, Alex Agaba. Alex Agaba will take us through this segment. Welcome you, Alex. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. You're doing a great job. Well done. Well done. Amazing speakers, and I can't wait for the evaluations. In the meantime, I'll run you through a quick table topic session. My table topic session is dedicated to the theme of the day according to the speeches, resilience. Juliet came and showed us her resilience, and Brenda came and showed us her equal resilience in pursuing a very tough project at Toastmasters, setting up a podcast. So in equal measure, at Toastmasters, we're all resilient. So I'm going to call upon members. When I call upon you, you're going to share a story of your life when you are called upon to be resilient, or a part of your life where resilience shone bright. There's a small twist to these table topics. I want us to share these table topics in a story format. You know stories like once upon a time. Every day I woke up and I lived on a farm. Every day my mom woke up and went to dig, and sometimes I escorted her. So I'm going to show you a small guideline to a story. Maybe you can follow. It's a popular story spine. Some of you have seen this before. If you haven't seen it before, today is your luck. I'm going to share it. This is what all animation companies like Pixar or Disney use to tell us their stories. So in equal measure, Toastmasters, today you're going to share your stories using this story spine. I'll give you an example. I already started. Once upon a time, I lived on a farm. Every day, we woke up and went to the garden to dig. This was kind of cumbersome. We wished there could be a better way, until one day, our area MP offered us a tractor to help us plow the farm. Because of that, our work was easy. The work we do in one day, we could now do it in half a day. And because of that, our yields were bounty until finally we're all happy with the harvest and we could now go to school and everyone lived happy ever after. So I want you to use that kind of story format to share upon a time you are called upon to be resilient. And I'll pick a seasoned Toastmaster to show us an example. If I can look through my participants list, I guess I'll leave this on. Don't worry. Hey, Carla, how are you?
I am fine, Toastmaster Alex. How are you?
I know you're going to do this perfectly well. Go for it. Carla, when you're ready, please share a story when you once upon showed some signs of resilience or exhibited a lot of resilience in your life.
Could you read that, Alex?
Please share a story in your life when you are resilient.
Once upon a time, in a village called Denamstel, where I was born and I grew up, I built my own house, and I'm living right in my village of birth. As a child, I loved outdoors. To me, fishing with the guys and feeling for fishes in the trench was something I enjoyed doing. As a resilient individual, I care not what they think about me. Some even called me a tomboy, to which I retorted, we all have those experiences as young ladies growing up. Nonetheless, I can recall coming home from Bible class one day with my sister, who was way ahead of the friend. A few cows, those Master Alex, on the road. And my friend hit the cows and they ran up the road like Usain Bolt in a 100-meter sprint. My little sister was in danger and I ran. In fact, I screamed out her name, Allison, Allison, look out, cows. But she couldn't hear me because her ears were plugged up. I took off, pushed her out of the way, just in time. It was there the cow connected with me and put me into midair. The cow looked over to me, Toastmaster Steve, and said, ah, ah. I was completely lowered to the ground. The sea of waves parted as persons hold their bellies, bubble up with laughter. Toastmasters and guests, as a resilient individual, today I have mastered my fears of cows. I have two, and I name them after my neighbor, Maxine and Shamar. That is how I was able to be resilient with the cow and my experience. Topic master.
Thank you, Carla. Excellent story on resilience. However, I want speakers to use the story spine I'm displaying on the screen. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Yeah. Please, Carla, you would have said because of that, and until finally, I want to see those bullets in your story. Once upon a time, every day, until one day, something big happens. Until one day, something happens, like a hero comes to save you. Because of that, until finally. That's going to help us build our story. I see a hand up. I think Gilbert wants to try it. Gilbert, do you want to go for it?
Sure. I want to give it a try.
Go for it.
Once upon a time, I was this diligent worker who used to go to office every day on time, do my work diligently, and go back home. Every day was a joyful day because I was able to deliver on my targets. Until one day in 2020, when hell broke loose and the whole world was invaded by a pandemic called COVID-19, sorry. And because of that pandemic, I could not go to work every day as I used to do. And because of that, I missed my friends at work. I missed my job. I had to stay at home. I couldn't travel to do shopping. And because of that, my moods went down. My earnings went low because many things could not happen. And because of that, my costs also shot up because the whole family was at home. We had to eat, yet we were not working. Until finally, it was announced that COVID had been eradicated from Uganda, and therefore we could go back to our places of work and work. And because of the resilience that we had, we were heroes who had overcome that pandemic. And ever since then, we've been working normally and we've not had situations like that. come again. And we hope we won't get back into that situation. Over to you, Table Topics Master.
Excellent. You are a storyteller, genre evaluator. PQD Gilbert, Rutelembera, you are a storyteller. That's how you do it. And I want another volunteer because I think volunteers will do it excellently well. I see Bill, B. Dennis. Your hand is up, B. Dennis. Share with us a story when you exhumed excellence or resilience in your life.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. So, once upon a time, when I was a small boy, I used to sleep a lot in class. Because I used to really eat a heavy lunch. So in the afternoon, a siesta, I would actually catch a siesta. Every day, when I went back home to have lunch and came back in the afternoon, I would typically sleep. I would not concentrate in class in the afternoon because of that. Until one day, I really ate a very big meal. Because of that, I slept in class that day. Because of that, I started dreaming. And as you know, the afternoon dreams are always very sweet. Because of that, I dreamt I was a chicken. So, no sooner than I started dreaming I was a chicken, I felt like no sooner I started dreaming I was a chicken, I started feeling like I started having the feeling feeling like how do chicken feel now? I'm stuck, and I started feeling like I was going to be taken to a very big restaurant for a meal. Until finally, I woke up. I was in class. The teacher, everybody was looking at me, and when everybody was looking at me, and when they asked me to explain what I was doing, I told them I was actually meditating. And ever since then, I have never slept in class, and I always concentrated. And finally, I was given another story of somebody who dreamt like when they laid a chicken in class, but they end up doing otherwise. Ever since then, I always feel chief master.
Excellent. That's a tall tale. Those are excellent skills. Coming up with a tall tale impromptu on the stage. Well done, B. Dennis. I like your courage. We have another volunteer. Today is for courageous people only. Isaiah, I see you. Nyabuto, guest from Kikuyu. Share with us a resilient story in your life using the story spine here.
Once upon a time, they called me a stammerer. And each single day, I was treated as someone who is very special, someone who cannot be able to speak by himself. I remember one time when I was asked to speak in front of a group, And guess what I did? It was that fear and of course stammering. Until one day, when I was doing university, I realized that I'm fully responsible for my own self and my terrible communication skills. Because of that, I decided to step up and take up a leadership role at university. I became the class representative. And because of that, I enrolled for a communication skills back then at Coursera, a paid course at $45. And because of that, I even joined Toastmasters. I'm a member of Kikuyu Town Toastmasters Club. Until finally, when I'm now be able to speak and getting back on my feet and being able to construct those sentences to paragraph and trying to speak more eloquently. And ever since then, I learned that I'm fully responsible of my own self. I'm fully responsible of honing my communication skills. And this is my responsibility. Thank you. And back to you, Table Topics Master.
Well done, Isaiah. I like your call to action. And ever since then. Mr. Toastmaster, do I have time for one more? Mr. Toastmaster or timer, do I have time for one more?
Yes, Alex, please go ahead with one more.
Excellent. I feel like picking on someone because that's what we do as Table Topics Masters. Who do I pick on? Let's balance the gender a little. Asiimwe Samantha. Are you there? Going once, Asiimwe. Melody Nyonyozi. That's a beautiful name. Melody Nyonyozi. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here, but I'm in transit, so I'm not looking at my phone.
Can you share? Can you speak though? Melody, are you able to speak?
Hello, hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. Are you able to speak for 1 minute or 2 minutes?
I'll try to do that.
Yeah, just give us a story of your resilience in our story span of once upon a time, every day, until one day, because of that, until finally, and ever since then. Whichever you can come up with. Over to you.
All right. Once upon a time, I was having coffee with a friend, and I was having coffee with a friend, and she told me about Toastmasters and how great it had been for her and how much she had learned about it. Until one day when I decided to attend one of the online meetings, which I loved. Sorry, I'm not looking at my phone. What next?
Because of that.
And because of that, I was intrigued and excited about what I found. And because of that, I decided to join. And because of that, I'm here today until finally I've decided to stay. And ever since then, I'm a Toastmaster.
Excellent job. People at Kampala Executive, you're all amazing. It's been a pleasure being your Table Topics Master, and I'll hand it back to Mr. Toastmaster, Geoffrey Ayebare.
Thank you, Table Topics Master Alex. It was a good presentation and honing our skills using the story spine. I think even when it's not prescribed, it would be good for members to continue honing their public speaking skills using the stories, the story spine in case called upon. It is one way in which you can always be on point. Thank you very much, Alex. Now, we go to the evaluations. Next segment is going to be evaluations, and we shall evaluate, we shall call upon Shamim Nirere to evaluate Juliet Mureithi on her icebreaker. Over to you, Shamim.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the evening. I come here to give an evaluation of our icebreaker speaker, Juliet Mureithi, about building resilience. Thank you, Juliet, for your speech. I liked how you introduced it. It was an introduction that caught my attention, and I believe it caught everyone's attention. You said, I turned 35 last week. That was a hooker. I leaned in. I wanted to listen more. You went ahead to tell us about your story of your childhood, how you started, and then you were excited to go to finish school in Nairobi, and your parents gave you that shocker that you are going to Kampala for A-levels. And you told us how that was devastating, and you cried every single day. You took us along with you when you decided to resign that job to come and start a business in Kampala. Before that, you had told us about your boss who nurtured you not to be a mediocre. I felt like from your story, I got to know who Juliet is. Beyond Toastmasters, who is this person? I felt like you excelled at the purpose of your icebreaker, which was telling us about your story and yourself. What else do I think that you excelled at? I felt like there was preparation. I felt like you were so good with gestures. And I felt like there was speech structure. There was a clear introduction, a clear body, and a call to action in the conclusion. You have honed your speaking. You might want to work on your vocal variety. I felt like most of the time, the conversation was a bit flat. So to challenge yourself, Juliet, I would encourage you to deliver more speeches and incorporate intonation, vocal variety. When you were telling us how it was sad and you were crying, I would want to feel that. I would want to feel, and I cried every minute. Slow down, so let's feel that sadness. The other thing, I would like you to be aware of your audience. Most people have gone through sad moments, so you can throw a question and ask, okay, so imagine if you were in my shoes, how would that be? Timer, quickly, how much time did Juliet take? Timer?
Yes, Juliet took 8 minutes and 40 seconds.
Okay, so Juliet, your other challenge is the time. I felt like you took longer. Your speech was supposed to be 4 to 6 minutes, and you took 2 more minutes. As we hone our speech, as we hone our speaking skills, we want to be mindful of the time. So Juliet, to challenge yourself again, work on your time management skills for your speeches. But all in all, I was happy. I listened to your speech and I went out with this sense of building resilience in me. Thank you so much and congratulations upon your icebreaker. Over to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Shamim. Thank you. We are indeed honing our skill of public speaking, communication, and leadership. Next, we have Jesse Ainebiona evaluating Brenda Asiimwe. Over to you, Jesse.
Thank you, Master of the Day. Once upon a time, I listened to a podcast. Thank you. Thank you, Brenda. You did an excellent job with your podcast this evening. And I'm sorry. Yeah. Apologies for that. There are a number of things that I took note of and observed. First and foremost, you were expected to introduce your podcast in 2 to 3 minutes and then have your podcast play for 5 to 10 minutes. That was the time allocation for your speech session tonight. So what did I observe? First, I liked the introduction. It was rich and it pointed us to what the podcast was about. It was good. Then getting into the podcast, I loved the great music right at the start. It's musical, it captivated my attention, and I'm sure the same with the audience. So it was quite inviting and helping us to get into the podcast. Then you went ahead to introduce the guest speaker. I thought you did a great introduction. You did a great build-up of the guest speaker, Elizabeth Asiimwe. I specifically liked the question that you asked, how she identified agriculture as her choice of passion and as her choice of career. And her answer was quite intriguing for me when she said that I grew up on a farm. I thought that was really good and rich. The choice of your podcast was quite creative. Imagine me. And the questions that you posed were very intriguing and insightful. Where did I feel you could have done better? I felt that you could have done better by putting on your video while introducing your podcast. We missed out an opportunity to see you as you speak to us, because in communication, it's not only what you say, it's also how you say it. So when we have an opportunity to see you and connect with you, it helps us to appreciate the message even better. Another thing that I took note of is that your podcast was meant to play for about 5 to 10 minutes. I particularly took note of the timing for the segment of the podcast, and it was less than 5 minutes. Specifically, I also noticed that you cut it off at a point when you could have let that conversation end because you still had more time. So you could have given us a bit more time to listen into the podcast, because the project allows you up to 10 minutes for us to listen into the podcast. That said, I thought this was quite rich, and I am sure the Toastmasters on the call tonight will be looking out and going to that link to ensure that they complete this conversation, because that was quite an intriguing and interesting conversation. So to all the Toastmasters, these are the benefits that Pathways gives us. All of us need to be putting out content through a podcast. If you want to know how to do that, take your levels up to level 3 and then go to that project, create a podcast, and who knows, you could be the next big thing on the airwaves. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Jesse, for assisting us in honing our passion, honing our skills. At this moment, I'd like to invite Claire Bwenje as the Hackmaster. See how we were attentive during this meeting. Over to you, Claire Bwenje.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day. Yeah, this is the time. So our first question is, what is the word of the day? Feel free to just unmute and then you can answer the question. Thank you. Anyone?
The word of the day is horn.
Thank you very much. Who was introduced as an accountant by training?
Claire, am I eligible?
It's the Toastmaster.
Do I have an answer for that?
It's the Toastmaster of the day.
Who was introduced as an accountant by training. Wow, thank you very much. That's nice. Thank you. What is the meaning of hone?
To hone is to make something perfect or completely suitable for its purpose.
Amazing.
His physique was honed to perfection.
How many? Okay. How many new members did the president introduce?
3 members.
Amazing. Hey. Yeah, this is nice. Who grew up on the farm?
President Elizabeth Asiimwe grew up on the farm.
Wow. Which number is this meeting?
Number 42.
Wow, that's nice. I believe I'm a diamond. Who mentioned that in her speech?
Juliet.
Juliet. Amazing. Thank you very much. Over to you, Toastmasters of the
Thank you, Claire. We are honing our skills together in this as Toastmasters. Thank you very much. Everyone was listening attentively, and I loved that. Next, let me call upon Stephen Agame, our accountant, to tell us what happened and how he counted the hours.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the day. Good evening, all Toastmasters. Well, it's been a very amazing session. I'll firstly begin off with Juliet with our beautiful icebreaker. I noted that it was very, very amazing from the start till around the end where she had a bit of repetition. We had a repetition of the word "and" that was done like twice, then the "a" came in twice as well. And that was basically it for Juliet. I believe if she can improve that, that will really make her speech perfect. Then for Brenda, it still came through as a repetition on the side of the word and came in so repetitively. So that's what I was able to capture on the side of Brenda. Then Bill, during the table topics, had a very humorous speech, but at a point he had the A come through very repetitively, which showed that he was trying to think what to say next in his session. Then Melody Nyozi still had one A come through. So I believe that was a plus on her side. But if we have all this aligned, we can have better speeches. That is it from me. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Stephen. We are honing our skill. We are listening attentively and we are giving feedback. Thank you very much, Stephen. Now, this juncture, I would like invite our general evaluator to give us his report. Over to you, Gilbert.
A point of order, Toastmaster of the evening, we have polls that we are yet to launch. We could use this opportunity to launch them.
Oh, thank you very much, President, for that, I call it correction. Please, Madam President Elizabeth, can you go ahead with the polling?
Members, you should see the poll on the screen requesting you to vote for the best speaker. We had 2 speakers today, Juliet Mureithi and Brenda Asiimwe. Please vote for your best speaker in 2 seconds. Thank you for voting for the best table topic speaker as well. The poll is closed. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you, Madam President. As we can all see, the better speaker of the evening was none other than Juliet Mureithi Wanjiru. Congratulations, Juliet. Then when it comes to table topics, we had a tie. Gilbert Rutebemberwa and Isaiah were the better speakers. Congratulations, Gilbert and Isaiah. Okay, now let's go to the general evaluation. Over to you, General Evaluator Gilbert.
Yes, thank you very much, our Toastmaster of the evening. Part of my role this evening as a general evaluator is to monitor what took place right from the time this meeting started up to the time when it will end, and therefore be able to deliver a report on how we have fared, so that where we've performed well, we do more of that, and where we need...
Mr. General Evaluator, I believe we have the tag team.
Oh, yes, sorry about that. I think the remaining person there is the timer.
Wow, the grammarian.
Oh, and the grammarian, okay.
Yes, the grammarian.
Okay, so sorry about that. Let me start by, first of all, inviting our grammarian to give us his report, and that's none other than Alex Agaba.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. My role was made simple today. People on this call were very eloquent and exceedingly well spoken. They used the English language quite succinctly. I didn't really catch any alarming misuse of the English language, and I could sample out some usages I liked. I've already shared this. Our pride is in active listening. Seasoned Toastmaster. Test at resilience. When you said it was a test at resilience, I thought that was a very clear way of making us see it. Another speaker said, fantasize with the idea. I like that sentence. She fantasized with an idea. Another speaker really described this very well. Diamonds are very precious, beautiful, and resilient gems. That's a play on the rule of three. When you say something with the rule of three, it becomes very vivid and quite memorable. Well done, speakers. However, there are some usages I felt like could have improved. And this is mainly when speakers were using non-active language that kind of delays or meanders. There's a speaker who came and said, I am going to be evaluating. I thought that you can be more direct with your speech when you say, I'll be evaluating, or today I evaluate, so that you just quick to the point. Another speaker said, journey of educating myself. That to me also kind of lingered. I would have said on my self-education journey, or I think with English, the less words you can use to say something, always the better. Another speaker said, I come here to give an evaluation. Come and just give it. Or again, the less words you can use. I am here to evaluate, or something like that. Another speaker said, I went out of the meeting. It can be shorter if you say, I left the meeting with. I not what I'd say, I went out of the meeting with this lesson. So perhaps you could say, I left the meeting with a lesson. That's really, it's a bit picky, I know, but I had to come up with something. Thank you, and back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, our grammarian, for guiding us as far as the Queen's English is concerned. I'd like to invite our timer. Our timer, that is
Zaitun.
Zaitun. Zaitun, kindly give us a report of how we fared as far as time is concerned.
Okay. Thank you. And thank you for whoever participated and all those who came for the meeting. All the speakers were good. This is the report. Brenda spoke for 8 minutes and 47 seconds. Juliet spoke for 8 minutes and 40 seconds. And I think they're supposed to speak for about 7 minutes, so they were over the top. Then the evaluations were supposed to be, I think, 3 minutes. Shamim spoke for 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Ainebiona spoke for 3 minutes and 5 seconds. Then the table topics, all the participants were over the time, except Melody, who spoke for 52 seconds. Isaiah spoke for 1 minute and 33 seconds. And Gilbert spoke for 1 minute and 59 seconds. Dennis and Carla spoke for 3 minutes and 21 seconds, and Carla spoke for 2 minutes and 22 seconds. I think that's that. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Zaitun, for that report. Here at Toastmasters, we respect time as much as we can because we believe that time is an asset which must be used preciously. Now I'll dive straight into my report. We started today's meeting on time at exactly 6:30 p.m. and thanks to the president who kick-started this meeting on time. President Elizabeth went ahead to welcome the guests and make them feel comfortable by asking them to introduce themselves. And I appreciate that because it helps make the guests feel at home, and those who are non-Toastmasters then find it a home to make their own. Our Toastmaster of the day, who was actually doing this role for the first time, has been amazing. Geoffrey, I appreciate your service. You were able to introduce the meeting by telling us about Toastmasters, how it started, and who started it. And I liked that because then it gives non-Toastmasters a bit of an understanding of what Toastmasters is and what it is about. I also liked the guidelines that were provided by our table topics master, Alex. I found it very, very interesting, very intriguing, and a twist from the usual that we normally have at the table topics. I liked that. Alex, thanks very much for always being creative as a Toastmaster, because that's where leaders are made. You are always honing your skills at every opportunity you are given. What could we do better? Like it has been mentioned, our second speaker did not turn on her video at all. And we always try as much as possible to make sure that even when we hold online meetings, the experience should be as close to physical meetings as possible. And as part of delivering one speech or project, it is important that your video is turned on, and so people or the audience is able to view you as well as hear you clearly. So I think we missed that bit. And as a seasoned Toastmaster, Brenda Asiimwe, I think you very well could do better on that next time. As we progress, I can see that we are still doing well against our time. And so that's commendable. As Toastmasters, we value time. By and large, this was an interesting meeting. I enjoyed my time here. I liked the participation of the audience, even when opportunities came around for them to participate. And that was because of the package that we had this evening at our 42nd meeting. That's the end of my report, and I would like to hand you back to the Toastmaster of the day, Geoffrey. Back to you.
Thank you very much, General Evaluator Gilbert. I was flabbergasted by saying that I have handled this quite well. I hope I'll continue to hone the skill of speaking, organizing, and communicating during a meeting as I serve the roles that will be given to me in due course. Thank you very much, Gilbert. Before we close, I can see some people. I can see the Division F Director, Wilson. I know he may have some announcements to make. Over to you, Director Wilson.
I thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Ayebare. That was a fantastic attempt. I enjoyed this meeting. I was at Africana where there was another meeting, but I was forced to leave that meeting and focus on this one because of the way you were handling it. I would like to thank the leaders for mobilizing members. I can see we had almost 40 people attending this meeting. It's not easy to mobilize even 15 people these days to attend an online meeting. That means that the leaders have done a great job I enjoyed seeing our new members participating, taking on roles, and that's what I like to see, because that builds their capacity early, and the club doesn't need to depend on people coming from other clubs. And I think we should be doing that. It's something I'm going to promote across the East African region. Once we have new members, we can guide them. Toastmasters is a safe space. Even if you make mistakes, we can guide you. My voice is a bit bad this evening. I want to stop here and over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Director Wilson. May I now hand over the microphone, so to speak, to Elizabeth Asiimwe, our president. Over to you, Elizabeth.
Thank you very much, our Toastmaster of the evening, Geoffrey Ayebare, for a great job done. Members, please join me in giving Geoffrey a big round of applause by clapping. Special thanks to the role takers today, the grammarian, the accountant, the hackmaster, table topics, everyone who has participated. We cannot take this for granted, and we congratulate you as well as thank you so much. Before we close, I have a few announcements to make. Allow me to share my screen. Oh yes, I inform you that at Kampala Executives, we recognize excellence. And how do we do it? Shout out to the best speakers today, Juliet, Mureithi, upon being the best speaker in the prepared speeches category. It was your icebreaker and you turned out fantastic. Congratulations, Juliet. Table topics, Isaiah, our guest from Kikuyu Toastmasters, and Gilbert, you've done a great job. Thank you so much. Members, as you may know, we had the TCON last month, the 27th to 29th. And as you know, Division F had its own edition, which was physical at Hotel Africana. I'm proud to notify you that our very own Patricia Opio was awarded new member of the year 2021-2022. A big round of applause to Patricia in her absentia. At the same event, yours truly, Elizabeth Asiimwe, was awarded the President of the Year. A big round of applause to Elizabeth for making Kampala executives shine. Now this one, how many clubs in the world have a member as a district club growth director? Our very own Wilson Asiimwe was elected District Club Growth Director for the 2022-2023 Toastmaster year. Congratulations, Wilson. I remember the polls were very tight and our fingers were crossed, and eventually we emerged winners. Congratulations, Wilson.
Madam President.
Yes, and I also congratulate all that participated in the polls. Those that went through, those that didn't, you all did a great job. Yes, Wilson, please comment.
Yes, I would like to say that this election is so special in my life because the people who voted for me voted for excellence. They knew what we had done in Division F. It was tough because I was coming against somebody who sponsored the first club in Uganda, Kampala Toastmasters, and he has been a Toastmaster for 17 years. And I've just been a Toastmaster for 4 years. I also came against somebody who stood last year and was beaten by Toastmaster Eric Mureithi, and he had so much support. We had 2 rounds. I won the first round, and then they said, no, you must get 50% because I got 48. and my closest rival got 41%. So my supporters left the council meeting thinking I was the CGD. And when I looked at the list of Ugandans and friends across, they had left. So I said, how can I win this? I almost told the district director that I'm stepping down for Mekedela because I have never campaigned. I didn't campaign for this role. Everyone was asking me, Wilson, why didn't you tell us to vote for you? I remember the VP of Lobowa came, Mwema, Rita. He said, Wilson, you haven't even talked to the Ugandans to vote for you. What? Don't you want this role? I said, no, I don't have to tell you to vote for me. For me, leadership is about doing things that can convince people who want you to serve them to vote for you. You don't even have to cajole them to vote for you. But what you do is what makes you be elected to serve. This is a volunteer organization. And so for me to go around cajoling people to vote for me wouldn't be so nice for me. And so I said, no, I will not campaign. And when I won the contest, somebody from Nairobi sent me a message, one of the top leaders said, Wilson, your work has campaigned for you. You didn't have to tell us to vote for you, but we gave you our votes because of what you have done. Our division is the fastest growing division in East Africa. We have already 4 clubs chartered, and we have about 4 clubs which are about to join us. And for me, I think by the end of our term, we should have 2 districts in East Africa. That's my dream. I want to inspire people across East Africa because I got more votes from other countries than my own country. And that is really special. Over to you, Madam President.
Thank you very much, Wilson. And you've said it all. Your work will campaign for you. Members, let's always put our best feet forward. We have some announcements, as you may see on the screen. For 3 months, Toastmasters has granted us, it's not a waiver, but an extension kind of. So if you're able to renew your membership by tomorrow, there is a special rate from Toastmasters. Members of our club that are yet to renew, please get in touch with our treasurer, Wilson Asiimwe, so that we discuss the modalities of harnessing this opportunity. I cannot forget this special announcement. As you may have seen on the different platforms, we have a day out on Saturday, and this will be a bus tour around Kampala, and we will end at Imperial Resort Beach in Entebbe. Come, we have fun, come, we celebrate, come, we hone our speaking skills. We will have table topics, we'll have speeches on the go. Please do not hesitate to join. Entrance participation is only 50,000, and I am collecting at club level. I thank all of you that have paid up yet. Zaitun, Kagame will pay shortly, Geoffrey, Wilson, please go ahead and pay so that we get together again and celebrate. Members, that is all from me. I see we have about 14 minutes to the end of our meeting. I will now call upon for announcements from the different members of the executive committee. And we'll start with you, Wilson.
Yes, I'm sorry for speaking a lot, but I want to encourage people who are on this call to join us on that weekend. That bus is so exciting. The team that is organizing it has done a great job. I've been following what they're doing. It's going to be a very exciting weekend. We also want to use it to promote Toastmasters across Kampala Metropolitan, because we shall be ending our journey in Entebbe, spending our day there and coming back. And we are going to wrap that bus with the 2 banners that we used at the district and division conference so that everywhere the bus goes, they know that this is Toastmasters being promoted. So I would like to encourage you to join us and have fun on that particular day. Toastmasters don't always go in for these fun-filled moments, but I want to encourage you to always go for them, because there's a twist. When you meet your colleagues from different clubs, there's a way you get encouraged, because you talk to them and they tell you so much about Toastmasters, they tell you so much about their journeys, and especially new members, you shouldn't be missing out on such opportunities to meet Toastmasters from other clubs for inspiration. Over to you, Madam President.
Thank you very much, Wilson. From your desk as treasurer, any announcements?
Yes, I would like to say that our club now is among those clubs that are distinguished, but we still need new members to make it 20. We are almost there. And now that we have $30 to pay for those who haven't renewed, let us go for it and make sure that we take advantage of this. It's not common for Toastmasters International to give you such an opportunity to renew your membership at just $30. Let's do it. You can inbox me and I guide you on how we can achieve this. Over to you, Madam President.
Thank you, our Treasurer Wilson. We now hear from our Vice President of Education, Brenda. Brenda, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Elizabeth. I just want to say, first of all, that I enjoyed myself in this meeting, though I had occasional hiccups of internet dropping me in and out of the meeting. And I'm glad to have shared my podcast with you amidst the fears that I had. And for anyone that has feedback for me beyond what my evaluator shared with me, kindly inbox me. For those ones who have my contact, I would wish to hear more about what you have to say to me after you've had a chance to listen to the entire podcast. With that said, thank you so much for coming in big numbers, and I hope that you are again able to join us for our next meeting, which is 2 weeks away on 1st of July. We'll be communicating details of when and where the meeting is going to happen, who's going to be leading it, the theme of the meeting, and you can expect more of this and even better in the next meeting. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brenda.
I also just wanted to say that I'm so proud of one of my mentees, our Toastmaster, Geoffrey, for leading the meeting in an excellent way. So kudos, Geoffrey, well done.
Yes, that is excellence at Kampala Executives. Thank you very much, Brenda. Before we hear from Geoffrey as the Vice President of Membership, I see President Shamim has a hand up. Shamim, go ahead.
Sorry for hijacking your announcements. Kampala Toastmasters Club, the mother club, the springboard for all these clubs that are mushrooming and chattering in Division F, has an online meeting on Friday, and we invite everyone who has been here to join us on Friday again for another scintillating meeting. Thank you, President Elizabeth.
Thank you very much, Shamim. I wanted to repeat the word that you've said. Somehow I failed. Where will
the KTM meeting be? Maybe she didn't tell us. Is it a virtual one or is it a physical one?
Yeah, it's virtual this time.
It's virtual.
Okay. All right.
Okay, Geoffrey, over to you.
Thank you, President. Mine is not so much, but I am very happy that all our new members took up roles during this meeting. That is excellent. They are honing their skills. We are honing our skills together. Thank you very much, Stephen. Thank you very much, Zaitun. Thank you very much, Claire. And also, Juliet, you are amazing. You are indeed a diamond. Thank you very much. Over to you, President.
Thank you very much, Geoffrey. We do not have our secretary with us this evening, neither do we have our sergeant at arms. And in case anything comes through, we'll be sharing it with the members on the different platforms that we use. At this moment, I'd like to call for impressions of this meeting, and I'll request the guests first to share with us how they found this meeting. And I'll begin with Fiona. Fiona, guest.
Thank you very much, President Elizabeth. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. This meeting has been very interesting. I have learned a number of things. I hope people can hear me.
Yes, we hear you, Fiona.
You are audible. Yes. Okay. Again, let me introduce myself. I'm Fiona Ibudi. I am just about to join Mbarara Toastmasters Club as a charter member. I have enjoyed the meeting. I have learned a number of things, new words. I have learned how to use the word horn. I have most especially enjoyed the new, I think he was a grammarian, when he said the rule of three. That was my first time. I didn't know about the rule of three. And I have also been reminded that I need to use fewer words when I'm making statements. Yeah, so I've really enjoyed the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fiona, and welcome to the Toastmasters family. Now we can hear from Sechisonge Shaks. Sechisonge, tell us how you feel about this meeting. As we wait to hear from Sechisonge, we can hear from James Wesonga. James, over to you.
Yes, thank you, Madam President, for this opportunity. I'm so honored to be in this place. I've learned a lot today. I've learned a few words as well that I didn't. Actually, this is my first meeting, and I was referred by Steve. And I can't wait for another opportunity to maybe meet all of you guys so that I can join the club. Great to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Please don't miss Saturday. Saturday, the 18th of June, which is this weekend. Let's meet and talk more. I see Mr. Nga has a hand up, and I believe you're a guest. Mr. Nga, over to you in less than a minute.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Protocol observed. Thank you very much for having me on the meeting. I came in because it is my first online meeting to attend, and my third ever Toastmasters meeting. The first being an open house where I made the decision to join. The second being the first meeting I attended as a member, and the third being today. The interesting thing about Toastmasters is that every time you come in here, you come online, it is something to learn. Having said that, I've learned so many words. I've learned how to scintillate words, how to hone my skills, and I don't think there is anything better than Toastmasters in terms of encouraging you to speak better and leading the way in terms of public speaking, organization, and development. I was very excited to have my colleague Fiona Ibudi on the call. Actually, Fiona, kudos to you. Your feedback has encouraged me to give feedback as well. They've given me a minute, and there we go. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. We now hear from Antonia. Antonia, are you there?
Thank you, President Elizabeth. I have enjoyed this meeting very much. Once upon a time, I was so scared about saying and all the time when I speak, and listening to people struggling with the same challenge, I'm not so scared anymore. I look forward to improving my speaking skills, and I see Toastmasters is one place where I can do that. I look forward to more experiences like these, And I'm grateful to everyone who has taken up a role this evening. I think you've done very well. I look forward to grow in Toastmasters. Thank you all.
You're welcome, Antonia. Antonia, are you a Toastmaster yet?
Yes, I am a Toastmaster Mbara Club.
Great, thank you. We have a hand up, J5 Prime. In less than a minute, please share with us.
Hi, happy evening, everyone. My name is Mercy. I was invited by Brenda. I talked to her last week about joining Toastmasters, and she invited me for this meeting. It's been very good. I'm actually even more excited to join. Thank you.
You're welcome, Mercy. Please do not hesitate. And I want to believe that you're joining us on Saturday for the bus tour.
Yes, I will. I'll join in.
Perfect. See you then.
All right.
Members,
Thank you.
we have 2 minutes to the end of our meeting, the ideal end of our meeting. But I see we still have many guests online that haven't spoken. I'm requesting that by show of hands, you grant me 5 extra minutes so that we hear from everyone. By show of hands, please. I'll know that you've granted me the 5 minutes. Thank you, Wilson. Oh yes, thank you. I see the majority proposing that we proceed. Now we're going to hear from Christine Amlindwa. Christine was referred to this meeting by Paul Kavuma. Christine, share with us your impressions of this meeting.
Thank you, President. I really enjoyed this meeting. To be honest, it was my first Toastmasters meeting. I've always known that Paul was in Toastmasters, and he had tried a couple of times to invite me and interest me with Toastmasters, but I didn't know what it was about. So it's been great to get a general oversight about the club and what the Toastmasters and what it does. So for me, particularly what has interested me the most is that Toastmasters has availed us the opportunities to nurture our public speaking skills. So that is really nice. And the fact today in this particular meeting, I learned to be very articulate and precise and to put a point across. Yeah, so I'll definitely be joining you guys on Saturday. Yeah, so hopefully we shall have fun. And yeah, looking forward to more meetings and yeah, hopefully join in the future. So thank you and have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you, Christine. We look forward to hosting you again and see you on Saturday. Carla Andrea, please talk to us.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I am from Guyana, the oil-rich nation, and it's a pleasure to be a part of your meeting. Am I a Toastmaster? Yes, I am. 1 year and 9 months. I was invited by the Tamarind Mombasa Toastmasters Club. Let's say Toastmaster Alex, the person who would have shared the flyer in the group that I'm a part of. That's where I saw the flyer and I was able to circulate it and to be here and to take part in such a memorable, intriguing, and fun meeting today. Once again, it's my pleasure to join you and hope to join you physically one good day.
Thank you very much, Carla. By the way, I enjoy your humorous posts on the groups that we share. Oh, yes. that is Carla. Now we can hear from Lynn Rukundo. Please share with us your impressions of the meeting. As Lynn prepares to speak, we could hear from Stephen. Stephen Kagame, today has been your first day as a Toastmaster, and on this very day, you've taken a role. How do you feel, and what are your impressions of the meeting?
Thank you so much, Madam President Elizabeth. It's been a very amazing experience, I must say. A lot of learning, a lot of challenges in the process. Being an accountant as well as being, a role taker has given me a bit of confidence to challenge myself to also reduce on the R's, because the R's are really so many in my speeches. So I believe with time and with more engagements, I will perfect my engagements and speech. Otherwise, I've had a very good experience. Thank you, the Toastmaster of the day, Mr. Ayebare, and the rest of the Toastmasters that really gave us the amazing speeches. Juliet's speech was really amazing. I liked it. And I believe great lessons ahead and great experiences ahead. Looking forward to Saturday to meet each and everyone.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you so
we
much.
look forward to meeting you too. Zainab, please share with Zaitun, rather, please share with us in less than a minute. Okay, we see Zaitun is just connecting. As Zaitun connects, we can hear from DTM Jesse. Jesse, I know you, and please share with us your impressions of the meeting. Okay, we see Jesse doesn't have a microphone. And lastly, we can hear from Miss OM. Miss OM, please introduce yourself and share with us your impressions of the meeting.
Hi, Elizabeth, it's Mercy. I already introduced myself.
Okay, yeah, you just renamed. All right. Mercy, we can now hear from HK, H.K. The second last person, H.K, please greet us and introduce yourself and share with us impressions. All right, and lastly, we can hear from the admin. HK may not be on his or her gadget right now. Admin, in case you're on, please unmute, introduce yourself and share with us impressions. Okay, admin may also not be on her gadget. Ladies and gentlemen, Toastmasters and members, this comes. Oh, I see Shamim. Shamim, is your hand up? I think your hand was up.
No,
Shamim, are you saying something?
No.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Toastmasters and guests, our meeting has come to an end. It is adjourned to the 1st of July, 2022. Thank you very much for participating, for engaging actively. Stay safe and bye for now. See you all on Saturday.